All right, moving on. Since we're on the subject of fucking things.
All right.
I'm just going to ask you out of just curiosity.
Sure.
You've obviously used a condom. At least I think you have.
Yes.
Okay. Well, how much does a condom cost?
What, $1?
$1. I agree with that.
Is that about right? It's like
That's about right. About $1.
$10, $12 a box?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, the Center of Disease Control has issued a warning.
Okay.
Please do not wash or reuse condoms.
What? Who's doing that?
Well, apparently somebody is doing this.
Who? I would like to know. I can't imagine one person ever. Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of using a condom? Isn't the condom like covered with that fucking spermicide shit?
Well, not all of them are. That is a feature of a certain brand.
Okay.
That does that. But if you were to guess any state in the 50 U.S. states, what state would you think that someone would do that?
Alex, I'm going to go for Florida.
You would be correct, sir. Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Yes, people actually do this.
It's terrible.
Why would you reuse a condom at $1 a piece?
Do you wring it out?
I don't know. Let's find out. Condoms are known to help Condoms are known to help protect you and your sexual partner against sexually transmitted infections and unwanted pregnancies as long as they are used properly.
Okay.
Washing and or reusing condoms does not fall under that category.
Look at that picture, Nathan.
At what point would you think that anyone would go, you know what, I could just wash it? Well, there you go. Nathan's got it.
That's what I'm saying.
Every color is represented there.
Jesus Christ. How difficult would it be to put on a fucking
reuse condom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Don't you have to re-roll it or something?
I mean, you ever like had one that like got unrolled a little bit and then you try and put it on and it's fucked up, so you just throw it and get another one?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I can't imagine taking one like in this condition here and trying to what? Shimmy your dick into it? Ugh. This is a gross story.
Well, people are fucked up. We've pointed that out over years and years of doing the show.
Yeah.
But people in general, not all, but just people in general, they're just kind of fucky.
What woman is going to let you stick your dick in her when you're saying, here, just use this one again?
Well, we covered a story last week where some dude basically was not even verified as having a dick.
Yeah.
And was capable of fucking two women with a dildo, more or less.
Right, sure.
So, some guy reusing a condom, is that really out of the question?
To any woman that has any self-respect, yes.
Or any good sense about her.
I cannot fathom handing a woman a fucking pre-used condom.
Well, you're assuming that she had anything to do with it.
Like he secretly puts it on.
Yeah, well, he just let me put this on. I just fucked some other chick using this. I just washed it out.
But I mean, a condom is usually somewhat tight too. I mean,
well, you would think, yes.
How the fuck do you? Well, if it's not, then it's not going to be very much use.
Well, again, people do some whack ass shit, man.
You might as well just fuck her with a sandwich bag on your dick. It's going to have the same value as a fucking loose condom.
Right.
This is a fucked up story.
Of course, but people do stupid shit.
Yeah.
The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention recently tweeted.
Of course they did.
Yeah, of course, because people follow Twitter so closely.
Right. That's where I go for my Center of Disease Control news.
Right. A reminder to the general public. We say it because people do it, Chris Aiken. Yeah. Don't wash or reuse condoms. Ugh. Use a fresh one for each sex act.
Well, okay.
Yeah. That never once occurred to me, ever. Hey, you know what? I didn't break this one. Maybe I could just wash it out and reuse it.
Be honest here. Regular chick, not like a wife or a girlfriend, but just like just gonna happen to fuck this chick girl. You've got two choices. Reuse condom or ride her bareback. Which are you doing?
Oh boy. Now that's a tough one.
See, to me, it's not tough at all.
Just go bareback, huh?
Go bareback. I'm going bareback. If I don't have a condom, I'm not going to not get laid.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fucking wash out the one from...
Yeah, well, it would never occur to me to reuse or wash out a condom. Never.
Yeah, I can't fathom that. Be looking to see if maybe I got one of those old, dishwater gloves or something I could tie around my dick. That'd work about as well.
Right. The incorrect use, such as reusing a condom or using more than one at a time, diminishes the protective effect of condoms by leading to condom breakage, slippage, which goes back to your point.
Yeah.
About being a little more snug.
Yeah.
Or leakage.
Okay.
Soap and water won't kill all of the tiny microorganisms.
All right, wait a minute. Bobby Kenneth in the chat room. You need to call and tell that story.
All right.
He says he actually used a bread bag.
Really? A bread bag?
I need to hear that story. What's the phone number?
It is 800-497-5891.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby Kenneth only. I don't want anybody else to call with any story. I want to hear about this guy sticking his dick in a bread bag.
A bread bag?
Yeah. Come on. A bread bag?
That's a big bag.
Yeah, he must have a huge cock.
Of course.
God.
Soap and water won't kill all the tiny microorganisms on the inside of the condom, and it can only make the latex more prone to tear.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the reason for using them may be, the Center for Disease Control just wants to make sure you're using them correctly, right, so you're not putting yourself or your partner at risk.
Okay.
Condoms can be purchased at any drugstore or supermarket, online, and there are no age restrictions to purchase them.
Yeah. So the only answer to this is you're being cheap.
More or less, yeah.
There's no other explanation.
Of course. You can also find them for free at a low cost at a local or state health department, Planned Parenthood, doctor's offices, college health centers, and community clinics.
And the Classic Metal Show at appearances.
Right.
Because we give them away.
Because we give away scumbags for free.
Jizz bags.
Jizz bags, sorry.
We give away the free jizz bags.
Jizz bags for free. Wow.
This is quite the story.
At no point, and we can thank Demon for this.
Yeah.
So at no point has it ever occurred to me to go, hey, you know what? I think I could wash this out and reuse it.
No, never. I can't fathom that. But then again, you're the guy that would be like, you are the guy that no matter how fucking ready to fuck you were, if you didn't have a condom, you'd be like, All right, I'm walking away from this.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, not me.
But, dude, the difference is that I'm not a big drinker. And
True.
And a lot of this has to do with people and their alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes back to the whole who does that song? Let's get drunk and screw or something like that.
Who does that song?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see.
Get drunk and screw. That would be Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw?
Yeah.
David and Co.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So that's the whole secret of the whole thing.
I guess.
It's like, let's just get fucked up and bang.
See, I don't know. I don't know that it has to deal with alcohol, though.
Well, I think it does.
Because I could be stone sober and fucking rock hard, and believe me, I'm not going to be like, all right, well, if we've been messing around and she fucking blew me a little bit, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I don't have a condom, go to bed. Fuck that. Fuck that. I am fucking roaring into that shit bareback.
All right. Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Greetings and salutations.
Oh, my God. It's our good friend Geoff Tate.
Real Geoff Tate. Doghouse did relay to me your communication earlier in the week, and I, of course, knew he was instinctively, I was able to discern immediately that you were asking about me and not him.
Well, I was always interested in the relationship that Doghouse has maintained with you, Mr. Tate, and the fact that I felt he was a great liaison between ourselves and yourself, so I had to go to the middleman.
Well, that is true. He is my, he is somewhat experienced in the public relations field, and I have thrown him a bone, as it were, and employed him in that capacity. But
so he's an actual employee of you now?
Well, I throw him a bone, as it were. I toss him a few breadcrumbs from my. Speaking of bread bags, I've got a cock like a loaf of French bread.
Well, Jeff, I hate to stroke your ego or anything, but the fans.
You can stroke anything you want, Neely.
The fans have been asking about you for months now, and they felt that your absence from the show has kind of left us empty, and we're glad that you've chosen to return.
I am certainly very flattered by that. I'm a man who is driven by ego and all those other sorts of things, id and ego and the shadow within, all that sort of thing. I'm very gratified that they still think of me and they have not moved on to some other ridiculous nonsense. I don't know what you fellows have been cooking up over the intervening years, as it were. Speaking of the passage of time, my gosh, the halcyon days of the real Geoff Tate on the Classic Metal Show were 5 years in the past.
Wow, Jesus, that is crazy. So what have you been up to, Jeff?
Well, I, of course, have been pursuing my musical endeavors that range far and wide across the spectrum of sound. I'm sure you've, especially Christopher, has been following closely, haven't you not?
Of course. I went and, I don't know if you remember, but I was at your show when you did your acoustic performance where you transitioned those horrific metal tunes into much more relatable musical numbers, so to speak.
Yes, it was much more intimate. It was much more lush. It was much more nuanced, all that sort of thing. And the way these songs, I was finally able to perform these songs in my head, and to perform them live, the way that I heard them in my head all those many years ago before, idiots like, Chris DeGarmo and especially Michael Wilton. God, I hate that fucker. Put their stamp on it, or if you will, they stomped all over it, all over my compositions with their electric guitars, with their Marshall stacks. I could hardly hear myself sing. We used to have the most brutal fights and fisticuffs, episodes of physical violence in the rehearsal space when I could not hear myself sing over the racket.
That's right. It was so refreshing to see. To just see, it was just you and a couple of viola players and a guy banging on a box. It was fantastic.
The thing that you call a box, that is it is actually called a cajon, I believe. It is a not cojones, which I have in spades, as you know. If you'll pardon the expression, spades. But no, it's a Latin percussion instrument. It's like a box, and each different side of the box makes a different sound, so that it can simulate different drum sound, different percussive sounds. It is quite a marvelous thing, and I am a great fan of boxes, and I like to pound a box every now and then.
Well, Geoff, I got to let you know that our chat room is going crazy with with elation of your return to the Classic Metal Show.
It is it's a multiple simultaneous chat room orgasm. I'm very gratified to hear that. And hello, and I hope you all get new keyboards. Just mop it up with a T-shirt, why don't you?
So Geoff, what led you to grace us with your presence tonight? What topic were we talking about that struck your fancy, so to speak?
Well, of course. What do you think, Christopher? What do you think?
It could be the horse sex, for all I know. There's been times where you...
As a matter of fact, you are correct, sir. But it was not so much the coitus with the horse that sparked my interest. That is old hat to me. And it should be old hat to most of your listeners. But, I'm just sitting here listening and droning on. Chris is talking about fucking animals again. Twiddling my thumbs. But, no, what struck me, after being away from the program for many years, listening back in, how little had changed, and what struck me, what jumped out at me, if you will, is the way that Christopher had to actually rack his brain to try and think of an animal that he would, actually want to have sex with.
Chris, can you justify Geoff's thought process?
My point in that, my point was not necessarily having sex with the animal. My point was being brave enough to stick my dick in its mouth, and that is where I had to really think about it, Geoff, because I think I just have fear. I fear the animals chewing it off.
Well, yes, but rather than dismissing the idea completely out of hand the way Neely did, you actually had to think and make a mental exercise out of it.
Oh yes, of course. Of course, you can't just blindly say no to anything without some consideration.
Well, of course not, and it's still the same old Christopher. I'm glad you made the distinction, Christopher, that teeth notwithstanding, game on, brother.
Well, of course, Geoff.
And whether it's a horse or a pig or an ashtray full of mashed potatoes, whatever.
A ham. Too funny. So Geoff, so are you on the record as a condom guy, or as you would definitely fuck the chicks without using a condom?
Well, in my case, the condoms don't seem to be of much use, because even at my advanced age, my sperm is so powerful. My prostate is packs so much firepower that the condoms are just it's like it's useless. It's a pointless. It's an exercise of futility. I just shoot right through them.
I hear you, Geoff.
So you would shoot through a woman's uterus like a shotgun. Is that what you're telling us, Geoff?
I would call it a scattergun or a splattergun or something like that. But yes, I'd like to. This great turkey baster of mine, it completely covers her insides. It is a cosmic turkey baster is what I've got right here.
Wow.
Your amazement is thoroughly warranted, Mr. Neely.
Yeah, of course. Because I'm just envious.
Yeah. So Jeff, were you upset at all when you were in the Cleveland area and I spent instead of coming to meet you again, I spent an hour chatting up your daughter?
You know, I believe we discussed this before, but did that happen again? I know it happened the one time.
It happened just the one time.
Oh, all right. I didn't know if you were getting all comfy cozy with my daughter.
I'd like
Miranda,
to, but that's another story.
Was it Miranda?
No, it's the other one.
All right. I don't recall having let Miranda out of the basement since then, but be that as it may. No, everyone deserves their fun. Frankly, I have better things to do than speak with you, Christopher.
I do believe you.
You should. Why, when I went to, all the wonderful, talented, very diverse trim at my concerts, why would I want to spend it with fat, sweaty Christopher Aiken?
That's a good point.
Absolutely. I only make good points, but, that's fine. You leave me to my own devices, and you can do what you want. A little secret. My daughters perform a lot of services for me on the road. They sell T-shirts. They act as an intermediary with the media, all that sort of thing. But I bring them along in case I want to go do something, and there's someone like you, Christopher, or someone like Mark Ostronomy and John Stregel. People like those. I use the word people loosely, but if there's one of those types of individuals that are just getting up in my face and wasting my time when I could be, I could be balls deep in some hot pussy, I just say, hey, Miranda or Veranda or Veronica, or whatever your name is, take this fellow out and show him a good time, why don't you? Daddy's got business to attend to.
Well, Jeff, you never
it's
cease.
It's a very workable situation, and I think it works out for everyone, all individuals, mutually satisfactory. But you were saying?
Well, you never cease to amaze, Jeff.
Amazement is my middle name. Jeff Amazement Tate.
All right, Jeff. Well, what else are you into these days? What are you up to these days, musically or personally, that you want to enthrall the fans with?
Well, of course, I have a wonderful relationship with my lovely wife, Susan, and as I say that marriage is a fluid thing, I'd like to speak about my lovely, I suppose the old-fashioned word would be mistress. I don't like mistress as much. It seems so, it seems so roaring 20s, if you will. But my latest concubine is a lovely Eastern European woman. Her name is Maria. She's been in the news quite a lot lately. But I would like to say that I have been made the acquaintance of this lovely Maria, and she is a simply marvelous individual. She knows lots of tricks, and she knows lots of important people in power.
Wow!
And I'm very proud to make her acquaintance.
Well, it sounds like you're well connected.
I would say that is possibly true. I have watched. Lots of people in certain circles, they like these Russians, these Romanians, these Belarusians, these Lithuanians and Latvians and all that sort of thing. All these Eastern Bloc countries are just teeming with lovely, lovely women. And, aside from their physical beauty, which is unmatched around the world, they also they bring the sort of demeanor that is, I think, missing from American women. They are obedient, they are supplicant, they are willing to take direction, they serve only to please the man of the household, which would be me, of course. And, when I saw that no less than our president, Donald Trump, has himself a Russian bride. I said, Jesus Christ, I gotta get me one of those.
Glad to see you're taking a cue from our great president.
Absolutely, blind squirrels and broken clocks, Neely.
Very good. All right, Geoff. Well, I hope it won't be too long before we hear from you again and you share your insight and your greatness with us.
Well, I expect to be quite busy in the ensuing months, but perhaps I could drop in and share a few nuggets of wisdom with the peanut gallery and all the mental children that still make up the bulk of your audience. I'm still glad to see. They have to go somewhere, don't they?
Absolutely.
Especially now that Romper Room doesn't come on anymore.
Exactly.
This is really what your program is. It is a romper room for adult imbeciles. It is a Sesame Street for headbangers. It is
It's fodder for the mindless, Geoff.
Absolutely, fodder for the mindless. I like it, Neely. You're coming around to my way of thinking. I'm glad you spent. I'm glad you spent these past few years improving your mind.
Exactly. All right, Geoff. Well, in tribute to your call and the fact that you called Chris out on his proclivity for, fucking animals, I thought.
Can I guess?
Yes.
I know what is coming. I read you like a book, both of you. I can imagine what has risen to the top of your playlist. It is those. Speaking of mental children. What are they called? Gwomp?
Gwar.
Dweeb?
Gwar. Yes.
You want to play fucking an animal.
I am, and you called that exactly how I have it set up.
I know you well, Neely. I know you quite well, perhaps better than you even know. Susan has told me all. Speaking of proclivities, Susan has told me all about yours.
You're very well read, Geoff.
Don't worry, Neely. It's not a fetish. It's only a specialized sexual interest.
Exactly.
It's only a fetish when you can't get hard without it.
All right, Geoff. Well, don't be a stranger.
Absolutely not. I may be strange, but I'm not a stranger.
Exactly.
Hail and kill, gentlemen.
Hail and kill, Geoff.
Fuck you, pal.